Let's be honest. A lot of reality TV feels scripted, glammed-up cast, over-the-top arguments, and moments clearly created for drama. But every so often, something real slips through. Something raw. Something so honest, it catches everyone off guard. That's exactly what happened when Kimmie Scott sat down for an episode of the Reality with the King podcast and let the truth spill, with no warning and no filter. Microphone in one hand and years of silence in the other, Kimmie didn't just talk, she exposed. For the longest time, fans believed she and Tisha Scott were close. They smiled together at family events, shared sweet banter on love and marriage, Huntsville, and seemed like the perfect sister-in-laws. But what we saw was surface level. Behind closed doors, it was something else entirely. And now, that curtain's been pulled back. In a calm voice, Kimmie said, "People thought we were close because we're family. But that was just convenient." That one sentence shook viewers. Fans who had rooted for their bond suddenly felt betrayed. Kimmie wasn't just opening up, she was releasing years of built-up frustration. She explained how she'd held her tongue for the sake of peace. How she stayed quiet even when it hurt, just to keep the family image intact. But now? She was choosing her truth over silence. What made her speak now? Kimmie said it wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about attention. It was about freedom, finally freeing herself from the pressure to pretend. Because according to her, every hug on screen was layered with quiet resentment. Every show of support masked years of emotional distance that no one ever saw. Until now. And of course, Tisha didn't stay silent for long. Days after the podcast aired, she went live on Instagram. Her tone was sharp, her words chosen carefully. She didn't say Kimmie's name, but everyone knew who she was talking about. "Some people love to play victim when their true colors been showing," she said with a smirk. It was more than a clapback. It was a message. And the internet went into a frenzy. Comments exploded. Hashtags like Team Kimmie and Team Tisha flooded timelines. Fans picked sides. But none of them had the full story until it started leaking. Sources claimed there was unseen footage from a promotional shoot, a moment that wasn't supposed to be filmed, but somehow was. It happened inside the makeup trailer. The tension had already been building, and when someone brought up the podcast, Tisha snapped. She accused Kimmie of airing family business instead of handling it in private. Kimmie didn't back down. "I didn't lie," she replied. "If the truth makes you uncomfortable, that's not my problem." That line? It was the spark that lit the fire. Voices rose. Chairs shifted. People stepped in to keep it from turning physical. Even Maurice and Marceau got involved, trying to calm things down. But the damage was already done. And fans hadn't even seen the worst part yet. OWN Network scrambled behind the scenes. Legal teams reviewed footage. Producers debated what to show. But fans were demanding answers. Emails poured in, begging the network to air the uncut scene. They didn't just want drama, they wanted the truth. And while the network tried to figure out how to respond, Tisha's image began to crack. The woman known as a strong wife, a smart businesswoman, and a devoted mom suddenly found herself under fire. Her brand deals slowed down. A few speaking engagements were quietly cancelled. Rumors said organizers didn't want the backlash. The Scott family's business, Black Cigar Lounge, also took a hit. Sponsors started pulling back, saying the drama was bad for business. Behind the polished exterior, Tisha was hurting. Eventually, she went live again, but this time was different. No makeup, no filter, no carefully crafted message. She looked exhausted and emotional. "I did what I thought was best for my family," she said. "I never expected people I cared about to turn on me like this. If I hurt anyone, I'm sorry. I'm human too." Some fans showed her grace. Others weren't as forgiving. They accused her of playing victim only when the cameras weren't rolling. Her comment section turned into a war zone. Meanwhile, OWN was in crisis mode. Executives held emergency meetings. PR teams debated releasing statements. Legal advisors warned against airing the full trailer footage. Some feared backlash for showcasing Black women in conflict. Others argued the moment was already out there, and hiding it only made things worse. And then, like wildfire, a short 14-second clip leaked. Grainy, low quality, clearly filmed on someone's phone, but unmistakably real. In it, Tisha is red-faced, yelling, "You were never family to me. You always wanted to be better than me." Kimmie, visibly shaken, responds through tears, "I wanted peace. But in this family, peace makes you a target." The internet exploded. YouTubers dropped reaction videos. TikTokers broke down every movement, every facial expression. Twitter turned into a battlefield. Hashtags like "Kimmie deserves better" and "Tisha exposed" trended for days. Fans were no longer just watching a show, they were part of a movement. Then came the real shock: Melody Sherry. Always strategic, always one step ahead, she appeared on Instagram Live, relaxed in a silk robe, sipping tea with a knowing smile. She didn't name names either, but her words hit hard. "Y'all surprised Kimmie finally spoke? That girl been biting her tongue for years. And trust me, that podcast? That wasn't even half of it." Fans went wild. Melody hinted at having receipts, screenshots, old messages, private group chats. She claimed Tisha and Marceau had tried to manipulate how Kimmie was portrayed, asking producers to cut scenes that made her look too good. Melody wasn't just adding fuel to the fire, she was flipping the table. Suddenly, the entire story changed. It wasn't just a disagreement between two women. It became something deeper. A years-long pattern of control, image management, and possible sabotage. And fans? They wanted all of it. They weren't just interested, they were demanding the full truth. OWN's inbox got flooded with over 15,000 emails. Viewers weren't asking for drama, they were asking for accountability. Then it happened. A full, unedited clip from the trailer incident leaked online. Not shaky, not blurry, high quality, raw and intense. It showed everything. Tisha yelling, "You just wanted to shine. You never cared about me." Kimmie standing firm, replying, "I gave you respect. I gave you silence. And all I got back was shade." That moment hit hard. It wasn't just a show anymore, it was real pain, real betrayal, and real people breaking under pressure. Even Tisha's most loyal fans began to question everything. Who was really being honest? Who had been hiding behind the cameras? And how much of the truth had the network really shown? What started as one quiet podcast episode had turned into a full-blown storm. And now, it's not just Kimmie or Tisha's story, it's the viewers too. They want justice, transparency, and the truth, no matter how messy it gets. Social media exploded. Influencers went live to share their opinions. Podcasts picked apart every sentence. Blogs used bold headlines like "The Fall of the Scott Dynasty" and "Kimmie's Truth versus Tisha's Breakdown." Everyone wanted a piece of the story. But while the online noise kept growing, the behind-the-scenes drama was even more intense. Then it happened. A full, unedited clip from the trailer incident leaked online. Not shaky, not blurry, high quality, raw and intense. It showed everything. Tisha yelling, "You just wanted to shine. You never cared about me." Kimmie standing firm, replying, "I gave you respect. I gave you silence. And all I got back was shade." That moment hit hard. It wasn't just a show anymore, it was real pain, real betrayal, and real people breaking under pressure. Even Tisha's most loyal fans began to question everything. Who was really being honest? Who had been hiding behind the cameras? And how much of the truth had the network really shown? What started as one quiet podcast episode had turned into a full-blown storm. And now, it's not just Kimmie or Tisha's story, it's the viewers too. They want justice, transparency, and the truth, no matter how messy it gets. Social media exploded. Influencers went live to share their opinions. Podcasts picked apart every sentence. Blogs used bold headlines like "The Fall of the Scott Dynasty" and "Kimmie's Truth versus Tisha's Breakdown." Everyone wanted a piece of the story. But while the online noise kept growing, the behind-the-scenes drama was even more intense. Inside the OWN network, panic had set in. Executives reportedly held urgent meetings to figure out what to do with Love and Marriage, Huntsville. This wasn't just a storyline gone wild, this was a threat to one of their most successful reality shows. It was the silence turning into confessions, the pressure cracking loyalties, and real emotions rising to the surface. The fans? They're no longer just watching a show. They're picking sides. Because now, this isn't just entertainment, it's personal. And it's far from over. See y'all in the next video. This is Celeb Nova, where the drama ends and the truth begins.